Well, a new study is warning of the risks climate change is having on areas of Alaska. A megatsunami hit the region last year after a coastal landslide in the Aram Fjord, a narrow sea inlet. The huge wave reached heights taller than the Eiffel Tower in an area that is frequently visited by cruise ships. Aram Fathian is a co-author of the study at the University of Calgary, and he joins me now. Hello, Aram. Thank you very much for your time.
Hello. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not at all. If we can just first start, before we look at this exact mega tsunami, what are they exactly? What makes them mega?
Well, the tsunamis are coming from the extreme events. They are triggered by some phenomena like earthquakes, volcanic activities, or a landslide. And in this case, it was triggered by a landslide, which was a huge and giant landslide, generating that mega tsunami waves. So this is the aftermath of a huge blocks collapsing into the water and surging the water to a very high altitudes and elevations.
Yeah, can you talk me through in a little bit more detail the destruction that was caused by this giant wave that swept through the fjord in southeastern Alaska?
Yeah, so in Aram Fjord in southeast Alaska, the tsunami, the mega tsunami waves, it was triggered by these giant blocks collapsing into the water, and the landslide itself, it was attributed to glacial retreat. The glacier at the base of the slope acts as a kind of buttress of physical support, and we know that the glacier has been retreating for decades. And once the glacier shrinks and pulls back, it is acting as it leaves the slope bare and unsupported, and allows it to destabilize and also eventually to collapse. And that's a chain of steps that has been the case here.
And I believe it went largely unnoticed at the time of the event occurring. Why is that?
Well, that's totally right. That's totally true. A landslide tsunami in Aram Fjord was not on the radar, so it was not a known concern. It is now, but it was not on anyone's risk or hazard map. So there was no clue, no kind of cautionary movements, a rockfall, cracks, or whatever that can be alarming for us. So that made the event to be not anticipated. And we also tried in our study to do a retrospective assessment just to see if we can whether we can see any kind of movement or signals that can act as a precursory signal prior to the collapse. The satellite data didn't show any considerable movement, but what we found was some small earthquakes and tremors preceding the collapse, which is really promising.
Some could say, though, that a bullet was dodged here because this area that it went through is frequented by tourist ships, is it not?
It is, and it's one of the most popular destinations in Alaska, and during the summer, it is visited by 3 cruise ships and several more vessels daily. And this was a near-miss event, just only because of the timing. It happened early morning, about 5:30 a.m., and nobody heard about this enormous event just because it was a kind of fortunate timing. And you see, these cruise ships, they are carrying, some of them, they carry, I think, up to 6,000 passengers. They are literally floating cities in the area. And imagine hitting by a wave of that scale. That's not survivable. And it could easily turn into a horrifying disaster.
So is this area safe for tourism activities to continue, particularly when, you know, it took this landslide and the mega tsunami, took everyone by surprise?
Well, that's a hard question to answer. I'm not in a position to declare anywhere safe or unsafe, but what is obvious is that the hazard is real, the hazard is there. So wherever that we have a retreating glacier next to steep slopes near the water, it could be considered as a hazardous area. It should be monitored clearly and precisely. That's not something we can say is safe or unsafe. That's a decision for the regulator or the operators to do their cruising or anything that they want to do. But as a scientist, what I can tell you is that this is something that we are dealing with, and we should take that serious, I think.
Absolutely. Aram Fathian from the University of Calgary. Really great of you to join me. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.